Welcome, lover. I'm the Naughty Scribe, author, businesswoman, and your host for the next hour. This live stream is dedicated to love, sex, acceptance, and understanding the lifestyle and ultimate sensuality. Trust me, lover, the knowledge I drop will be straight, no chaser. So sit back and prepare yourself. It's about to get naughty.
Welcome, lovers. I'm the Naughty Scribe, and once again, you've tuned in to the Nyce and Naughtie Hour. Now, I'm going to be upfront with you. A lot of you motherfuckers are going to be very upset with a fluffy bitch tonight. But some shit has jumped off that has just made it necessary for me to kind of repeat myself a little bit, but not completely. Tonight's show is about dating versus obligation. Translation, simple bitch or stupid bitch syndrome. Now, full disclosure, I am a 30-year recovering sufferer my damn self. But I went through that shit when I was young and, yes, dumb. Learned a lot of lessons like I was supposed to and moved on. What is startling me is things that seem to be common sense, regardless of what venue, whether it's on your smartphone, whether it's on your computer, whether it's at a social gathering. Certain norms to dating are still the same. It doesn't matter how you first meet. Common sense is still common sense. And it just amazes me at the things that have been popping off in the news lately that we still just don't get it. Tonight, I have to focus on my ladies. And this is why. If a guy has a stupid date, the worst that'll happen is he might go home with blue balls. If a woman has a bad date, she might not come home at all. And that's almost what happened to one young lady that we're going to talk about tonight. Also, we're going to get into the obligation part of dating. Meaning, just because you spend money on me doesn't mean you're entitled to my ass. It's not a quid pro quo, sweetheart. It's about getting to know each other, seeing if we feel each other out, if there's any chemistry, and if it's something that we want to pursue. Meaning, a couple of more dates, getting to become friendlier, becoming intimate, becoming serious, maybe nothing at all because there's nothing there. That is what dating is supposed to be. That is different than a hookup. A hookup is, I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me, we meet up in a public place. If we don't kill each other and the sexual attraction is going on, we go somewhere, we bang it out, and we maybe never see each other again, or only when we have an itch to scratch. There is a big difference between a hookup and dating. And ladies, I'm going to be honest with you. Some of y'all simple bitches are confusing things, okay? Be clear on what it is you want to do. Do you want to hook up with this motherfucker or do you want to date him? There is a difference because if you're dating him, there's certain things you're just not going to do off the bat. If it's a hookup, there's no limit, no holds barred. Do what the fuck you're gonna do because this is not somebody that is going to be serious in your life. That is the definition of a hookup. You are taking care of a physical need. When you're dating someone, you're taking care of physical, emotional, financial, and a social need. And we're going to talk about that a little more tonight. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is, hey, honey, what's up? Oh, beautiful as ever. Thank you, Brian. You know, I always shout out my lovers on Facebook Live. One of the things I want to talk about is to prepare yourself mentally when you go out with someone on a first date. Now, here's what I mean. I don't mean you got to go to therapy or some bullshit like that. No. What I'm referring to is cleaning your head of all the bullshit fantasies you done built up about this man that you met on an app, on Facebook, Google Plus, Tinder, Grindr, whatever the fuck. And there is a site, whatever the fuck. Sorry, I'm losing my stand here for Facebook Live. Okay, sorry about that, darling. Hey, Virgil, sorry about you falling down, boo boo. Anyway, the live stream. What can you do? But here's the point. When ladies meet a guy for the first time, we have a tendency to build up in our heads what this man is going to be. He may tell us that he's a serial killer, but if he looks cute If he has the right kind of job, if he's driving the right kind of car, if he's of the right kind of social class, if he is hitting at least 3 out of the 5 major points in our head of our fantasy man, we don't hear serial killer. We hear he meets a lot of people. We don't hear he's a baby mama's baby's daddy. We hear he loves children. We don't hear he's abusive and beats the shit out of people. We hear he's a little on the jealous side. Because in our heads, we have built up this fantasy of what a perfect partner is. And it's hard for us to let it go because we've invested so much time, energy, and sacrifice. And I do mean sacrifice because we're so convinced that one day we're going to meet Mr. Perfect. Okay. Sorry again. I'm going to have to take a break in a little bit to fix this, but let's try it one last time. Okay. We try so hard we hold on so hard to that fantasy of the perfect man that we often overlook the good man or the good woman who is standing right next to us or maybe has been a part of our lives the whole time. You've heard of people say, damn, I thought Liz and JoJo were going to hook up. They've been best friends. They've known each other for years. They go to the same church. They have the same things in common. No, Liz is comfortable with JoJo. Liz has so much in common it would make sense, but JoJo doesn't spark a fire in me. JoJo doesn't excite me or arouse me in that way. JoJo, okay, I'm going to hold this for 2 seconds. I'm sorry, my engineer is coming up. I don't know what's going on with this one. Haven't had issues with it before, but he's putting the magic juice on it. Some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, thank you. If it stays up, I will kick your ass. I will seriously kick your ass. Okay, but anyway. So we hold on to a fantasy, but the problem is that because we have convinced ourselves that fantasy man is out there, we overlook or we put certain people in our lives who are probably better for us into the friend category or into the okay, but not quite there. Often forgetting that we're not perfect ourselves. We don't walk across water ourselves. Even if we did meet Mr. Perfect. Hey, Shalarana Niblet. Hey, baby. We forget that when we do meet Mr. Perfect, he might also have a fantasy woman in his head. And maybe we are the ones that don't measure up. So I'm not saying that the cute guy in the cubicle down the corner, in your office who takes you out to lunch, who listens to all your bullshit, who gives you a ride home, who's always a perfect gentleman, but he's feeling you. Not saying that that's necessarily Mr. Right for you either, but at the same token, I am an honest believer not to waste your energy on motherfuckers who are just not into you at all, or who are into you on condition. And you know what I'm talking about, ladies. We're talking about that asshole that's got the nice house, the nice car, the serious job, working a real Rolex, arrogant as hell, who tells you, I'm not into thick chicks, but he's banging you out while he's saying it. If you lose a little weight, I could get serious about you. So what do? You go to the gym and damn near kill yourself. You stop eating until you're damn near anorexic because this man has a standard that you're trying to meet. Why? Because in your head, he is hitting at least 3 out of the 5 of the perfect man. And yes, women, we do it more than men. We convince ourselves that if we love them hard enough, if we love them long enough, if we endure their bullshit long enough and are down for whatever, that some way, somehow, a magic fairy is going to come around, bop them on the head, and make them realize that we are worthy of them. We never stop to think, is this motherfucker worthy of me? By the time we get around to figuring that out, he's done had his fun with us. He's done used the hell out of us. And he's done moved on to the trophy woman he's always wanted. You were just the bench warmer. And we don't like to admit that. That's why you see women into relationships a hell of a lot longer than they should be in when they know they're a bad relationship, because they cannot admit that they were wrong. They cannot admit that the fantasy was just that, a fantasy. And if we can't get ourselves out of la la land, it can get us into a lot of trouble. For instance, there was an incident with Miss India Ali. A lot of you have already heard about it. It was an assault case due to a date she met on Instagram. So if I can get that video.
Well, Mike can share, yes, the victim shares with us how dating a handsome stranger that she met on social media nearly cost her her life. She was badly beaten, and doctors say that her condition was so serious it almost resulted in death. An instant dream date turns into an instant nightmare.
They beat me up.
And instead of texting and tweeting her friends the next morning, this is Indy Ali's scared and desperate 911 call.
There's blood all over the room.
Like many digital daters, the model met James Baker online after a dynamic DM popped up in her inbox.
He didn't really look like a creep from his pictures. He looked like he had it going on or something.
And with so much access to personal pics, videos, and likes, a one-time social media stranger can quickly feel like a friend. Last July, the 32-year-old made plans to meet offline. The duo drank a lot. Baker posted this video on Instagram from their date. You can tell India is tipsy, while Baker has a much more sobering, if you will, look on his face. She says she doesn't remember leaving the restaurant, has no recollection of their ride back to the LAX area, which Baker also posted videos of on Instagram. Nor can she fathom going up to his hotel room that night.
It was horrible. I woke up there. When I lifted my head up, I was laying in a puddle of throw up. So I look around and I see blood everywhere and my clothes everywhere.
She says she had been beaten to a bloody pulp and couldn't believe her reflection when she caught a glimpse of herself in the bathroom mirror.
Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And what if they come back and kill me?
Since her cell phone and car keys were both gone, she used the hotel phone to call for help.
So they just beat you up?
There's blood all over the room.
Where are you hurt, ma'am?
I'm hurt in my face.
Indy was rushed to UCLA Medical Center, where doctors determined she suffered significant head injuries. Her veins bridging the skull to the brain had torn, and her brain had shifted on its axis.
In essence, what had happened is she'd been punched in the head so badly that it had caused a swelling in the brain. The brain, when it expands, has nowhere to go. So it forces down, and that's what triggers the vomit action. It pressures the fourth vertebrae.
The LAPD used her Find My iPhone app, and within a few hours tracked Baker down. He was found with her phone in her car at a Marriott hotel in El Segundo, just a few miles from the Westin. Police would also discover a video of him leaving the Westin that morning around 2 a.m. in her car.
He has prior convictions out of state, and he's also on bail for another offence involving using fake credit cards at the time that he was arrested for this offence.
Baker was found guilty. But as for India, she wants her cruel computer connection to be a lesson in today's cyber world.
I wouldn't want anybody to go and meet up with anybody that they don't know. Please don't ever do that, because your life, you have to value your life.
As you can see, lovers, India Ali is a beautiful young woman. She's actually a model. And she just met up with this guy that she was conversating with on Instagram. And you saw what happened to her. Not only that, but after the police arrested him, if you had a chance to see the news article, he was already out on a warrant. He was wanted for credit card fraud and another assault. So just because something looks good, and I'm not going to take it from this brother. He was a good-looking dude. But here's a news flash. Good-looking dudes can be psychopaths too. You know, it's not always the guy that's gawking at you that you think is a creeper. He might be the one person to get on the damn phone and call the police to help a sister. All I'm saying is that there are things we have to do as women to protect ourselves and prepare before we go on a date. I like to say, I tell my engineer all the time, it's like when, y'all know, I'm a slot jockey. I love slot machines. But a sister got a good job, a good house, a good car, and some nice savings. I ain't trying to blow all that for a couple of seconds of a thrill. What has to happen? Before I even get in the car, when I'm still rational, before all the bells and the whistles take over and excite me, that's the time that I think, oh, I don't want to take my credit card, but I am going to take my driver's license just in case I hit the big jackpot. These motherfuckers writing me a check. They ain't going to say they don't know who the fuck I am. You the bitch, I'm the bitch you going to pay. But that said, I don't take my credit cards. I don't take a lot of cash. I take a little bit of fun money. When it's gone, it's gone. I make sure I got gas in the car. I got to make sure I got my insurance card, my credentials, just in case the police pull a sister over. I got my cell phone charged in case my family, like my sister who's watching now, yay, is on the needs to call me and interrupt me during my game. I'm covered. These are the kind of things I think about before I get in my car and I go to one of the local casinos, usually with my mom or my auntie, and have a little fun. When my little bit of money is gone, it's gone. But I can still go back home and eat. I got lights. I got water. I still have everything that I had left before I went. Same thing is required when you're going out on a date for a first time. Remember, everybody's on their best behavior when you first meet them. It's because they want you to like them. They want you to be interested enough in them to go out with them. They want you to feel at ease with them. You're doing the same damn thing. Most of the times you're on your best behavior too. So when it's the time to think about yourself and your safety, it's before you ever fucking leave the house. And we're going to talk about more of that in another segment. Also, one thing we have to do as women when we go out on a first date, we need to leave our hopes and dreams at home, okay? My engineer is laughing, but he knows I'm telling the truth. When you go out with someone, I don't care how good they are, good looking they are, I don't know how tight their game is, how nice their swag is, whatever it is that's turning you on about this person and makes you want to go out there and meet them. Remember, you don't know this person. In the back of your head, you should be repeating stranger danger, stranger danger, stranger danger, over and over and over and over again. You need to remind yourself that you do not know this person. You don't. He might be 100% legit, or he could be a creeper, and you might be the next missing person ending up on the back of a milk carton. You don't know. So leave your hopes and dreams at home. And why do I say that? Because again, women, we have a tendency to fantasize about the person that we're meeting. There is a guy in our head. We all do it. Every last one of them, me included. We all have an idea of the man, the perfect man for us. And when we meet somebody that embodies a lot of those traits, we tend to let the rest of our mind go along with it. Even though in the back of our head something goes, yeah, he's got 1, 2, and 3, but something doesn't feel right. We ignore that one and we let him talk us into it. Because one good thing about a liar, you have to be receptive to the lie for it to work. If somebody came in and said, damn, you are so thick, black, and beautiful, I just want to take you home and eat you with a spoon. First thing in my head is, who the fuck are you? And did you mean that literally like some Dahmer shit? I'm not going to sit back and go, oh, he thinks I'm so attractive. I really need to go with this man. I'll never meet anyone else like him again in my life. You're right, because I'm going to be dead somewhere. Okay? That's the honest truth of it. And not everything that we want in a relationship is what they want. Again, that's that hopes and dream. We meet someone, we have a great first date, maybe a great second date. In our head, we've already started planning our wedding. In his head, he's thinking, maybe a couple more dates, I could tap that ass. That's about as far I'm laughing at my engineer. That is about as far as it goes. Lovers, if I lost you on Facebook Live, I'm sorry, the phone overheated. We're gonna find something else to do this on. But again, that's what he's thinking. You have a tendency as a female to project your hopes and dreams on this man. And if he lives up to even most, not all, but most of the fantasy that we have in our heads for them, we have a tendency to just go the rest of the way on faith. And that's where we get fucked up. Either our finances, our hearts, our emotions, and we're damn lucky if physically we don't find ourselves in a situation like India Ali. And unfortunately, I wish I could say that her situation was unique. I wish I could say that it was rare, but it's not. And we're going to talk about some of the things that she even admits to maybe she should have watched out for. These are just simple dating tips that, honest to goodness, I thought every woman knew, but we're going to talk about that shit. So we're going to take our next break a little early, and we'll be back in one. Okay, lovers, again, I do apologize for my audience watching on Facebook Live. The phone overheated, and of course the safety kicked in and said that it was shutting down everything to cool off. So we're going to find another way to do Facebook Live. We're going to continue it, but we're just going to find something other than my cell phone to do it on, okay? So I do apologize, but like I always tell you, come on over to Listen Vision Live. That's listenvisionlive.com. For the full effect. You get the backdrop, you get the clips, you get Jacob, the whole nine. So we're going to recap our first segment. So remember, on a first date, you want to prepare yourself mentally. You want to remind yourself that this person is not your dreamboat. He might not even be somebody you want to ever date again. You want to clear your head of any preconceived notions that you might have of this person and look at them with fresh eyes. Whatever they told you over the phone, whatever they told you on instant message, whatever they told you through carrier pigeon, put all that shit out the window. That was to get you to the first date. You are there now. Now you are judging them and seeing them for who they are first time. No preconceived notions, no, oh yeah, he told me he goes to the gym. Okay. He may tell you he goes to the gym. You meet him, he's got a little bit of a pot belly. Ugh, sister can't talk because I'm working on my roommate right here, trying to get rid of this bitch as it is now. She don't do nothing. But the bottom line is, again, it's not like I can go in there and tell somebody that I'm a fitness trainer, okay? At some point, you're going to kind of judge for yourself whether that's true or not. But at least on a first date, you get a chance to do that. So remember, clear your mind of any preconceived notions. You don't know this person. You need to be able to see them clearly. Make sure that physically you are able to do this, meaning that you're not impaired in any way. And we're going to talk about that in more detail. But you're not under the influence of anything. You're not under any medication. There's nothing about you physically that would allow somebody to take advantage of you. If someone knows that, hey, you're a scrapper, they're a little less likely to try some shit. Didn't say it wouldn't, but you want to deter any bullshit off the bat. Emotionally, this is not your soulmate. Keep that in mind. You're not meeting your next husband. You're not meeting your next baby daddy, unless you're stupid. You're not meeting Prince Charming. You're meeting a stranger. And that's something you have to keep foremost in your mind. You're meeting a stranger you might have some things in common with, a stranger you might be attracted to, but a stranger nonetheless. So don't allow yourself to build up an emotional bond, which you can easily do with, with the bullshit he tells you online. When you meet him in person, don't give him that advantage. Let him build up over time that bond and connection with you. You don't owe anybody your heart. You need to protect that at all costs. Okay. Now we're going to jump into dating versus obligation. And this is going to be our getting it in segment. Okay, lovers. So here's the deal. Dating and obligation are two totally separate things. And some of you simple bitches are confusing them. And here's what I mean. Dating is when you meet someone, not necessarily of opposite sex, but when you meet someone with a romantic purpose. Doesn't mean that you're going to go to bed with them. Doesn't mean that you're going to marry them. It means that you are open to a possible relationship with this person. You are feeling them out. You want to see if there's a compatibility, if there's a chemistry, if there's an attraction. Yes, you should be attracted to your partner. If there's an attraction, you want to see if there's even the seeds to build a foundation for something more. That's all dating is. An obligation is something that you are morally, legally, or financially committed to doing. I am obligated to pay my mortgage or my ass is on the street. I am morally obligated to be as good a sister as I can to my little sister. I am financially obligated to take care of some shit, or a sister's homeless and on the street and no car and starving. I might actually lose a little weight then, but I digress. But an obligation is something that you have a moral, emotional, or a social or financial commitment to do. I've signed a contract. I have to do this. That is what an obligation is. If you have children, you are obligated to take care of them. That is a social contract that you made when you became a parent. That's an obligation. You do not owe anybody when you go out on a date. That's the bottom line. Remember, a date is a test run. It's just to even see if you can tolerate each other enough to take it to the next step or the next level. A hookup, on the other hand, is totally different. All you need to be is sexually attracted to someone, comfortable enough with them to share your body with them. They're not going to be somebody that you're going to be dealing with for a long period of time, if ever. It's just about the physical release and the fun. You're going to do some things to be safe about it, but it's not a relationship. You're not looking to date this person. You're looking to bust a nut and go. That's it. That's a hookup. If it's good, you might hook up a couple more times, but it's now become a casual thing. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. But that's the purpose. Don't confuse the two. We had this conversation a few shows ago. The difference between certain types of relationship, a serious relationship, a relationship, friends and benefits, being the side piece if that's what you want to be, and hookups. And there's nothing wrong with any of them if it's what you want and the person you with understands that and is agreeable to that. The confusion comes in, and yes, I'm back to the simple bitch syndrome, is when we say one thing and then we let our fantasy tell us something else, or we lead with that. That's why I said in the earlier part of the segment, when you go out on first date, leave your hopes and dreams at home. This motherfucker is not it. Even if he turns out to be it, you don't know that. Pinning your hopes and dreams on someone who meets a lot of your criteria is putting you at a disadvantage. It gives them the heads up, because if they know that they have you hooked, they know the line to feed you to get over on you. If they don't know what you're looking for, if they don't know if they're meeting your criteria, they have a tendency to be more genuine with you, and you have an ability to feel them out for real and decide for yourself if this is something you want to pursue again. So remember, there's a difference between dating and obligation, okay? And I'm sorry, but this next one was funny as hell to me, talking about dating versus obligation. Before we get into the next clip, let me set this up for you. Some of y'all have seen it. I laughed my ass off when I saw it. Okay. So, this guy in Austin, Texas, meets a girl online, decides to go out on a date, takes her to a movie. Number one, your first date is never supposed to be a movie. Your first date is supposed to be in a public area where you can have a little something to snack on, a little something to drink. You might want to make it a dinner. I like lunches, nice lunches. You can take them to a nice lunch, a nice brunch, whatever. But the purpose of a first date is to communicate with one another. See if there's any chemistry or anything there that would make you want or entice you to take it further, get to know each other, do a second or third, and maybe work on some stuff. Okay. The last thing you want to go to is a movie, because think about it this way. Most first dates usually last only a couple of hours. Most movies last at least an hour and a half to a couple of hours. So if you have spent most of your time looking at the trailers, small talk, oh, I like this movie, or I like that movie, you shut up and you watch the movie you came there, the feature attraction, you watch that movie, then it's over. I might not want to stick around for ice cream or coffee or something later. I might have shit to do. The date is over. You have wasted communication time. Movies are for something you do several dates out, where you two have a comfort level where you can sit down, ignore each other for a little bit, and still enjoy each other's company and your presence. A first date movie, no. So he fucked up there. But here's the kicker. He took this woman out that he'd never met to a movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. I gotta go see that one. I love the first one. And she proceeded to be on her cell phone. She kept texting back and forth a few times. Well, apparently she texted too many times and it got on his nerves, so he made a comment to her to the effect that maybe she wants to do that outside. She took offense and said, okay. And not only did she go outside with her cell phone, she fucking left. Okay, end of date as far as she's concerned. Now, most guys would have just let this shit go. Not this guy. Let's get the clip.
Most people, when a date turns bad, you just don't simply call that person again.
Yeah, he certainly would call an attorney, right?
Nope.
Not necessarily a case for an Austin man. He's now suing a woman because of how he claims she ruined the evening. Audrey Castoreno joins us now, and boy, talk about nightmare dates.
Yeah, definitely. This is not something you hear about every day, a date leading to court proceedings. Brandon Vesmar says he met the woman through an online dating app. The two agreed to see a movie, but Vesmar says it quickly went downhill when she kept texting during the film. He claims she opened her phone between 10 to 20 times to read and send texts.
But I said, listen, your texting is driving me a little nuts. And she said, well, I can't not text my friend. So I said, well, maybe you can take it outside in the lobby. You know, I've seen people get kicked out of movies for this.
The woman claims Vesmar's behavior made her feel so uncomfortable she left, fearing for her safety, leaving him, though, without a ride home. Vesmar has now filed a principal action lawsuit suing her for $17.31, the price of the movie tickets. But he says it's not about the cash, it's about the principle and how you should really treat others. Back to you.
Yeah, I don't know why he would go through all that trouble.
Okay, lovers, so you saw that for yourself. He sued her for $17.31, the price of the ticket. Now, here's the thing. If you listen carefully to the clip, he didn't have a ride back home, meaning that he got to the theater in her car. So, my issue is this. Should she then turn around and charge him for the gas that she spent to take his lame ass to the theater? I mean, I understand what he's saying about the principle on treating people a certain way, but let's look at it from both sides. You don't know me, I don't know you. She's texting on her phone. You don't know what the fuck she's texting. She might be saying, hey guys, I really met this cool guy. I really can't believe I'm here. We're getting ready to watch the movie. Her friends could have been hitting her back like, you know, is he a creeper? Is he doing this or that? You have no idea what's being texted because, again, we're going to talk about that. Your cell phone is your safety line. You better keep that bitch on and running. But the problem is he got offended that he told her that she should take that outside. She did what he told him to do. What he told her to do. She left. She fucking left. Now, I'm sorry. I'm one of those people, and I'm not being hypocritical. I'm being honest. I'm one of those people. I can't stand cell phones during a movie either. And yes, I'm black, but I don't like talking through a movie either. Shut the fuck up. I didn't pay to hear you commentate on the movie. I want to watch this shit, which is why I never go to a movie the first week it opens. Sometimes this is a really big movie. I won't go the second week. I let all those people go because they always want to go see it first and then tell everybody about it. I let them go first. I go usually the second, third week after the movie's been out. Everybody kind of knows what it is. The people who go are people like me who just want to go listen to the movie, watch the movie, and then bounce. Okay? And we can enjoy it with some peace. And not a lot of youngins. Sorry, but it's true. But that being said, the idea that I would go out on a first date with someone and he didn't like something I was doing and I left to then be sued for the ticket. He actually took her to small claims court and sued her for the ticket. Now here's the funny part. You invited her on the date, meaning that you, by the invitation, were going to take care of the expenses. I don't think he has a case. I really don't, but I would love to see how this one ends up. But that takes us back to my main point. Just because you spend money on me does not obligate me. Guys in the club, you buy me an expensive drink, okay? Because you know if you ask me what I'm drinking, I'm going to tell you I'm drinking top shelf, even though I've been drinking seltzer water all fucking night, okay? You ask, you spending your money, I'm drinking top shelf. Okay, you buy me an expensive drink. I am not obligated to go to bed with you. You chose to spend that money on me. That was your choice. I didn't agree to give up anything for that drink except a thank you. And you got that when that glass hit my hand. But you will have guys who are literally, and I've watched it and it's pathetic, but it's funny too. You will watch a guy get possessive, follow a woman around the club. Even if she's talking to other guys, he will make his presence known because he bought her a Hennessy or a glass of Bruette or Prosecco. Okay, now suddenly he spent $12. What the fuck are you expecting for $12? Dude, you can't even go to a pro and get a hand job for $12, but you expect me to come up with something, break you off something because you bought me a drink? No, that's not how that works. You're buying me a drink is you being a gentleman and you opening up a conversation with me, because normally what happens is someone buys me a drink and we get a chance to talk. That's the icebreaker. We talk, we chat. I'm feeling a little good. You feeling a little good. Alcohol's doing what it's supposed to do. Neither one of us are drinking too much because we're smart about it. And we see if we want to continue this, exchange phone numbers and go from there. Again, just because you spend money on me doesn't obligate me to do a damn thing. And you guys need to get over that shit. If you're thinking that that's a cheap way to get laid, what you need to do is stop being cheap, pay a good hooker. She will do whatever you tell her to do because you're paying her, and get off that way. But you're being cheap. If you think that buying me a drink is going to get you off, it ain't happening. And for you dumb, simple bitches who are doing it, you deserve all the disrespect you get, because you have just told this man that the only thing your female parts are worth, the only thing your value as a woman is worth, is a $12 drink. And that's cheap as hell. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I can't go out like that. And you shouldn't be doing it either. Don't pull a date's wallet either. That's the piggyback for if you spend your money on me, I'm not obligated. Don't pull a man's wallet or a woman's wallet, depending on how you flow. What I mean is this. If someone asks you out on a date for the first time, you do not want to have them take you to the most expensive restaurant that you can think of. That's not fair, because what you're doing is taking advantage of the fact that they are attracted to you, that they want to make a really good impression. Maybe this person can't afford to be taking you to that restaurant. My rule of thumb is this: if I can't pay the fucking tab my damn self, we ain't going there. It's that simple. If I can't afford it, we don't need to be there, because if something jumps off and I get stuck with the bill, I will cuss your ass out, but I'm not doing no dishes. I need to know that I can take care of that bill. If you have somebody take you to one of the most expensive restaurants there is, where he literally is paying $400 for the meal, and yes, honey, I've been to one or two in DC, and that shit's for real. $400 for 2 people. That's including appetizers, soup, the main dish of, I want to say aperitif, a little pre-dessert, the actual dessert, and then a drink after that. You done ate enough for Thanksgiving and Easter dinner together. The food is damn good. It almost looks too pretty to eat. The atmosphere is wonderful. The drinks are fabulous. And yeah, you just paid $400 plus, and you still got to tip the motherfucker that brought the food out and didn't spit in it. I done spent $500 on you for a night, just for dinner. Yeah, I might be expecting something for that. Okay, doesn't mean that I should. But again, you shouldn't have pulled his wallet like that. How are you going to have somebody spend that kind of money on you and then look at them like they're crazy because at least they want a kiss or a hug or a feel or something? Again, if you're not into playing those kind of games with yourself, don't play it with someone else. Rule of thumb, once again, if you personally cannot afford to pay that tab on your own, don't ask him to take you there. There's nothing wrong, because I'm going to tell you now, a fluffy bitch love herself some Outback, some Ruth Crisp on occasion, Georgia Browns. That's a little more pricey side, so I do it on a family thing, but yeah, I can afford that. Those are my kind of places. Frankie's, when I was at Dover this weekend, love Frankie's, lots of food, reasonable price, excellent Italian restaurant. But again, it's a tab I can afford to pay on my own. And it's a lovely place to go to. So again, if you're going out on a first date with someone and you know they want to impress you, don't play games. Don't pull their wallet just because you think, oh, here's my chance to go to the Four Seasons that I've never been there before. No, bitch, that's you taking advantage. And so if some shit jumps off, you ask for it. I'm just saying. Another thing, know and share your end game. Meaning when you go out on a first date and the conversation is pretty good, it usually comes out, so what are you looking for? That's the time for you to be honest. I'm open to a long-term relationship, but I want to see where things go. I'm not looking for anything serious, just a friend with benefits, emphasis on the friends. I'm not looking for a friend with benefits. I'm just looking for a casual lover, someone that I feel comfortable with that I can call on occasion. Whatever it is that your end game is, you need to be honest with that off the break. Not saying, hey, look, let's go fuck right now. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the person that you are out with may have a different intent. He might be looking for a potential wife. I've met plenty of guys who have asked to take me out. We have a great time, and when we get to that part of the conversation, they tell me, well, actually, I'm a single dad, or, I've never been married. I'm ready to settle down. I done lived, wild life, and I'm looking for a good woman to spend the rest of my life with. Okay, now I know what your end game is. Does your end game match mine right now in my life? No, it don't. I've been proposed to 3 times. Only one time did I ever get close. The rest of them, a sister was honest with herself. I'm not there yet. Maybe when I grow up and when I hit 60, I'm about to hit 51. I'm not mature enough yet. But maybe in another 8 or 9 years, I'll be calmed down enough to say, okay, I'm ready to settle down. But at least I'm honest about it. So I would not, after the first date, keep dating someone who's already told me what their long-term goal is, that they're looking for a wife. It is not fair for me or to them or to me, because basically you're asking for drama. You're going to have somebody's heart wrapped around you because they are seeing you as a potential mate. You're looking at them as a good friend. At some point in time, a conflict comes in because he wants to take it to the next level and you don't want to go there. You should have been honest about that shit to begin with. If you were and he said, okay, let's keep it moving, then it's on him if his heart gets caught up, because at least you were honest about it and you stuck to your guns. You didn't play games with that. So again, be consistent. Talk about what your long-term goal is, what your end game is, and be honest about it. Last point on this segment, before we get on our flag on a play, remember something else. It ain't all about you, boo-boo. It ain't. Dating is a 2-way, 3-way, or whatever way street, depending on who you dating and how you living, okay? If you are meeting somebody for the first time, shut the fuck up and listen to what they are saying to you, not what you want to hear. Listen to what they're actually saying to you. Because remember, we talked about it earlier. If someone tells you that they got 7 kids and they've never been married, don't tell yourself, oh, they like children. Tell yourself that they're irresponsible And you need to know more about what that situation is. Maybe he got a crazy baby mama out there slashing your fucking tires. You don't know. Maybe this bastard is behind in child support and he's looking for a pigeon, somebody that he can use to help him pay some of these bills. I'm sorry, boo-boo, but some of these guys play those games and they know the best way to get their ends met is to play with your heart. And if you're stupid enough to sit there and let them do it, why shouldn't they take advantage of it? Okay, because not every victim is a true victim. And I know I'm going to get in trouble for that, but here's what I mean. Sometimes there are things you can do to prevent yourself from being victimized. And I'm not talking about being raped or beaten or assaulted, none of that shit. No. Because if somebody has the intent to do it, they're going to do it no matter what. And you need to do all you can to protect yourself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when it comes to your heart, to your finances, and to your living arrangement. You might meet a guy who tells you everything in the world you want to hear, and you fall for him. And I've known females who have done it, and it drives me crazy because they're old enough like me to know fucking better. You move the motherfucker in your house. You think you got yourself this nice young thing who's all about it, all about you, going to be pounding it out every night, and you're thrilled as hell. 2 weeks after he's moved into your house, he's no longer employed. His boys got their feet up in your house. They're hanging out. They're eating all the shit in your refrigerator, and the only motherfucker paying the bills is you. Now you want this motherfucker out, and it's drama because you should never have moved him in there to begin with. So again, you need to make sure that you are hearing. Communication is a two-way street. Like they say, you got one mouth but two ears. Use them and listen double time. Hear what the motherfuckers are saying to you and take them at their word. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to run down some do's and don'ts. See you in one. Welcome back, lovers. You're tuned in to the Nyce and Naughtie Hour. I'm your hostess, the Naughty Scribe. Sorry, I had to get my train of thought back. Tonight's theme has been dating versus obligation. So again, we've talked about dating is meeting up with someone for a possible romantic relationship in the future. You want to see if there's seeds or if there's origin, something there, a genesis, something there to build on, or maybe not. That's all it is. It's just a test run to see if it's something there to build on. Obligation is something that you're financially, morally, socially obligated to do. So a commitment that you have. When you're dating someone, you don't have a fucking commitment. You're just getting to know them. You can't commit to anything, nor should you be. Now that said, let's do a quick round of flag on the play. Okay, so lovers, real quick, these are just common sense things. We ain't got to get into them real deep. Number one, tell someone. If you're going out on a date with someone you've never met before, somebody needs to know where a bitch is. Your girls need to have your phone number. You need to have it charged. They need to know who you're going out with, where you're going, and what time you plan to be back. And yes, girls, you know the drill. At some point in the night, your girl needs to be doing a status check. She needs to be calling you either once or twice during the date, not too close together, to check. If you answer the phone and your code is Purple People Eater and you say Purple People Eater, everything's cool. If you say, I don't like polka dots, that bitch needs to be calling the police and letting them know where you are. You're in danger. So again, tell somebody. Number two, take your own fucking car. Take an Uber, take Metro, whatever you got to do. that motherfucker should not be your ride. He should not be picking you up from your home. He should not be picking you up from your job. When you go out on a first date, you meet up at a mutual place. Why? Because even if everything goes well and he's a real gentleman and he takes you back home or he takes you back to work, and 2 or 3 dates later it doesn't work out for you, this motherfucker knows where you live, he knows where you work, and he's going to act stupid. Now you got that drama to deal with. If he only knows that you took Uber, or if he knows that you had your own car and you left, he don't know nothing else. And if he's following you, do what you always told. Pull up to the nearest police station, get out, walk in, and tell them you need an escort. It's that simple. Number 3, and I can't believe how basic this is, but some of you ladies are driving me crazy with this. Don't go to his house for dinner. You don't do that shit. I don't care how romantic he's going to make it sound, and he tells you ain't nothing up and my mama lives upstairs, whatever. Your first date is in a public place, and I don't mean public as in there's people 10, 50 yards away. I mean public as in we're eating at McDonald's, Starbucks, Popeyes, whatever. If a bitch screams or raises her voice, motherfuckers are going to hear this shit. They're not going to have to try and figure out where it's coming from. He is not burying my ass easily nowhere, no time soon. So again, don't make it easy for someone who might mean to harm you. If this person has no bad intent in mind, he understands these things. He's actually grateful that you took the time to use common sense. Keep your eye on your meal and your drink. That's another basic that just blew me, especially with the Ali case, because it was clear that she had been drugged. Here's my issue. If you're going out to dinner with someone and they recommend a restaurant or a bar and they tell you, oh yeah, I go here all the time, that's not the place you want to go to. Why? Because it might be his boy behind the bar that's slipping shit in your drink because you're being extra alert. You're on extra alert. It might be he has friends that work there that might be waiting to snatch you up and have a little gang fun with you and you didn't know it. Don't go somewhere where he's comfortable. Don't give him the home field advantage. Go somewhere public and neutral, but when you do, keep your eye on your food. My rule is this: if I have to get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of my meal, whatever's on my plate stays on my plate. I don't touch it. If I have a drink on the table, that drink is pushed to the side, I call the waiter over. I will order another drink. If I'm ordering a drink and it doesn't, and I know I have to go to the ladies' room or step out for a minute before it gets to the before it gets to the table, or it gets to the table before I do, I tell the bartender I'll pick up my drink from the bar. It's that simple. You can let people know that, or can you wait to serve my plate until I return? And they're happy to do it. That cuts down on any opportunity for somebody to slip shit in your food when you're away. And here's another thing, ladies. It doesn't take long to just, pass a hand over a glass or over a plate real quick while you're on your cell phone or you're digging in your purse. Keep your eyes on him or her and your food and your drink. Then you don't have to worry about it. But if you ever lose sight of them for a significant amount of time, it stays on the table. Last few ones. Don't get wasted. If you're drinking, don't get fucked up. It's that simple. If you're drunk, it's easy for somebody to take advantage of you. If you're drunk, you can't sit there and tell the police, I didn't give consent. Yeah, you probably didn't, but now it's a he said, she said, and you're drunk, so you don't know what the fuck you did. And that's a whole different argument. Don't give your personal information. When you're out with someone the first time, he doesn't need to know how many kids you have. He doesn't need to know how much money you're making. He doesn't need to know where you're working. He doesn't need to know all that shit. You're just trying to fill each other out and have a nice conversation. He doesn't need all your personal information. The more information you give him, if it doesn't work out or he turns out to be a creeper, now he has a way of contacting you or following you, and you just don't want that. Consider a group date. And that's something I kind of like. When you meet somebody for the first time, have your girls do a bowling party. Have your girls go do whatever, bowling party. I'll be honest with you, I've had some great first dates at a strip club. Everybody had fun. Some of these clubs are really nice, and hey, I've tipped the girls because they are fucking artists. But the point is that you're with a group of people. Somebody new is less likely to do some dumb shit to you when you're with your crew. And make it even better. Have him bring some of his friends, you bring some of your friends. You never know what'll happen. But both of you feel a little safer. And if it's not working out for either one of you, you still got your boys and your girls to hang out with and still have a good time. And the last one is, the last three, carry protection. I'm not saying carry a gun. I'm not saying that at all, unless it's legal where you are. But what I am saying is you need to have some shit on you just in case. You need to have a taser. You need to have pepper spray. You need to have something. If you could put a mini Rottweiler in your purse, do it. But you need to have some kind of protection, because even if you do everything you're supposed to do and there's opportunity for someone to harm you, they're going to do it. Don't make yourself an easy victim. And the last two, don't lie. You ain't got to tell them everything, but you don't need to lie about shit and exaggerate it, because if you do and that person feels righteously indignant, some drama can jump off. So it's no need to lie about your marital status or any of that bullshit. Just be upfront. And if they want to keep rolling from there, it's on them. And the last one is just so common sense right now. Google them. Everybody's got something out there on them. If you put in my name, you're going to find out some shit about me on Facebook, my business, whatever. But if I Google somebody and I can't pull up nothing, that means everything they've told me about them is bullshit, or if it matches somebody else's profile, it's bullshit. Stranger danger, keep it in mind. So with that, lovers, again, I want you to keep in mind dating versus obligating. You're not obligated to do shit when you go out on a date, but you should be respectful and you should be fair when you do, okay? I want everybody to have fun. I want everyone to belong to someone and be in love, but I also want you to come back home to those who love you safe and sound. And with that, we're going to call it a wrap. Life's nice when it's naughty. Good night.